news and it affects
If you don't read the newspaper, you're uninformed. If you do read it, you're misinformed.
So what do you do?
That's a great question. What is the long-term effect of too much information? One of the effects is the need to be first, not even to be true anymore. So what a responsibility you all have to tell the truth, not just to be first, but to tell the truth. We live in a society now where it's just first. Who cares? Get it out there. We don't care who it hurts. We don't care who we destroy. We don't care if it's true. Just say it, sell it. Anything you practice, you'll get good at, including BS.
Imagine waking up in the morning and switching on the news, only to be bombarded with loud arguments, dramatic headlines, and endless debates that feel more like staged performances than real discussions. There was a time when news was about facts, about keeping people informed, about questioning those in power. But today, it feels like a never-ending shouting match where facts are lost and opinions are sold like products. Now, who are we kidding? That's exactly the world we are already living in right now. We all know what has happened to journalism in India. It's not a secret anymore. Sensationalism has replaced serious reporting and drama has overtaken real issues. But while we watched, a documentary film by Vinay Shukla does something different. It doesn't just talk about the decline of journalism, it makes you feel it, and that is why this film is important. At the center of the documentary is Ravish Kumar, a journalist who refuses to be part of this chaotic TRP-driven media circus. Through his journey, we don't just see the struggle of one journalist, we see the struggle of truth itself. This is not a documentary made to shock you, it is a documentary that holds a mirror to all of us, making us question what we watch, what we believe, and what we have allowed journalism to become. This documentary follows the life of Ravish Kumar as he tries to hold on to ethical journalism in a time when truth is constantly under attack. It is not an easy job. Throughout the film, we see him dealing with challenges that no journalist should have to face. Death threats, constant trolling, and declining newsroom resources, and a media environment that is becoming more and more about propaganda than reporting. The film does not rely on dramatic storytelling to make its point. There are no staged moments, no voiceover guiding us through. Instead, we are placed right in the middle of Ravish Kumar's world. We see him sitting in the newsroom deciding how to cover stories. We see him receiving messages from people trying to silence him. We see his team shrinking, his battles getting harder, and the exhaustion on his face growing day by day. It is an intimate, unfiltered look at what it really means to be a journalist who refuses to compromise. What makes this documentary even more powerful is that it doesn't just focus on one person. It uses Ravish Kumar's story to show a much bigger problem: the slow, painful destruction of journalism itself. It is not about whether you agree with his views or not. It is about understanding what happens when journalism stops questioning, when news becomes entertainment, and when truth becomes just another version of a story instead of something absolute. Now, we don't need a documentary to tell us that Indian journalism is in crisis. We see it every day. News channels are less about facts and more about theatrics. Political parties have turned media houses into their personal PR machines. Social media is flooded with misinformation, and real investigative journalism, it's disappearing because there is no space for it anymore. But what While We Watch does is it makes you feel the weight of this reality. It makes you realize that the loss of ethical journalism is not just a problem for journalists, it is a problem for all of us. When news is manipulated, when truth is buried under noise, the people who suffer are the citizens. Without real journalism, corruption goes unchecked, injustice is ignored, and democracy weakens. One of the most striking moments in the film is when Ravish Kumar points out that the real danger is not that journalism is dying, it is that people have stopped caring, and that is where this film hits you the hardest. hardest. We, as an audience, have played a role in this decline by watching sensational news, by engaging with dramatic debates, by not demanding better. We have allowed this to happen. This film does not tell us about the problem. It forces us to think about our own role in it. What makes While We Watched so impactful is the way it has been shot. Director Vinay Shukla does not treat this like a typical documentary filled with expert interviews and data. Instead, he uses a cinema verite style, which means the camera simply follows events as they unfold. There is no narration, no external explanation, just real moments captured as they happen. This approach makes the documentary feel more personal. We are not being told what to think, we are simply watching reality unfold, and that is what makes it hit so hard. The scenes are not edited for dramatic effect. The pacing is natural and the emotions are raw. When Ravish Kumar sits alone in his office staring at his phone after receiving yet another death threat, the silence in that moment speaks louder than any narration ever could. There is also a growing sense of isolation throughout the film. In the beginning, we see Kumar in a busy newsroom surrounded by a team, but as time passes, the newsroom gets emptier, the staff dwindles, and the pressure increases. It is a slow but steady decline, and by the end of the film, you can feel the exhaustion, the loneliness, and the weight of carrying the truth when fewer and fewer people are willing to stand by it. Now, this is not just a film for journalists or media students. This is a film for everyone. If you watch news, if you consume information from any source, if you care about the state of the country, this documentary is for you. It is not here to change your political views or tell you what to think. It is here to make you question, to make you reflect, and to make you uncomfortable in the best way possible. There are moments in While We Watched that will stay with you long after the credits roll. The frustration of seeing a journalist fight against forces much bigger than him. The exhaustion in his voice when he talks about the pressure of keeping the truth alive. The realization that this is not just his fight, it is ours too. After watching this film, ask yourself, what kind of journalism do I support? What kind of news do I consume? Do I question enough? Do I demand better? Because at the end of the day, the survival of real journalism does not just depend on journalists. It depends on the audience that values it. Now, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. That is the beauty of While We Watched. It does not preach. It does not manipulate. It just shows. But here is what I will say. This documentary is important, not just for what it reveals about journalism, but for what it makes us realize about ourselves. So please, take 90 minutes of your life and watch this documentary, currently streaming on OTT platform MUBI. Watch it not as entertainment, but as a responsibility, because the state of journalism is not just a problem for journalists, it is a problem for all of us. And maybe if enough of us care, things can change. So if you have already watched While We Watched, what did you think? And if not, I hope you are planning to watch it soon. Let's talk in the comments, because discussions like these are exactly what we need right now. Thank you, have a great day, and bye-bye.